points.
Zombies are back in Black Ops 6, and so are Easter egg quests. As the name implies, these are full-on adventures set on the zombies' maps that you can only complete by interacting with a series of Easter eggs. Honestly, it feels a lot like a zombies raid sometimes. Here's how to complete the full Easter egg quest on Terminus. A quick note before we begin. The Beamsmasher Wonder Weapon is required to complete this quest. Since you can't rely on getting it from the mystery box, we're gonna start with a guaranteed path toward crafting the super weapon. Turning on the power is step 1 for any game of zombies, since you'll need it for the Pack-a-Punch machine and more. On Terminus, the first generator is directly in front of you in the guard station upon starting a new round. Pay 500 essence and guard it for 30 seconds to get the job done. Note that this is also where you can see Peck and Strauss behind a large window. That's important for later. Head outside and make a left to enter the control center. Again, remember these names and places. Pay 750 essence to exit via the double doors, then head down all the stairs and make another right. The double doors here cost another 1000 essence, and they open the living quarters. Inside is another generator, which costs 500 essence to boot up. After defending it, head out via the opposite door into the rec yard. Straight ahead up the stairs is the mess hall. Head in there and you'll spot an arsenal machine. You'll need this later too. For now, pay 1200 essence to exit through the double doors, then follow the seaside path outside as it slopes all the way down to the caves. You'll need to pay 1500 essence to blow through the rock wall here. Follow the path inside to find one more sealed door, the last mandatory one for this quest. Pay 1750 to open it up and find yourself inside the biolab. The last generator is on the ring in the center, so pay your 500 essence to boot it up. Alternatively, you can also reach this third generator by paying for the C tower door and taking the zip line down. There's a different rock wall down here you can blow through with 1750 essence. The mining tunnels beyond it also connect to the biolab via one last door. There's an arsenal machine inside the lab too, so you'll still have everything you need if you take this route. With the power back on, you can jump into the water and surface the lift. You'll need this in a moment, and it also happens to be where the Pack-a-Punch is located. Upgrading your weapons with this machine is another requirement for any good zombies run, but since we still have some more essence to spend during this quest, you might want to wait until you've acquired the Beamsmasher. That's one of the best weapons to upgrade in general. For now, we need to activate 3 laptops now that the power's back. The first is directly outside the control center if you hang a right. You won't have an on-screen prompt, but you can still press your interact button to boot up the laptop and see a symbol. You don't need to memorize it, just confirm the computer is on. The second one is at the north end of the rec yard, also known as the storage area. On your way there, stop by the arsenal machine to get yourself the dead wire ammo mod. It'll cost you 500 scrap, but it's required for this quest. Finally, the third laptop is down the seaside path. Follow it all the way down to the docks. Once all 3 laptops are on, we can proceed. Now we need to return to the lift in the biolab. Luckily, it's easy to reach from the docks. You can activate the lift from above for free, or for 500 essence from below to start riding up. But make sure you face back toward the lab as you go. Through this small window, you can shoot a fuse box with your dead wire ammo to activate it. Turn 90 degrees to your right to follow the spark and shoot another, then another 90 degrees to the right to shoot one more on the back of the living quarters. Head inside to shoot the next junction box near the generator, then follow the spark outside to shoot one last box. This opens up a secret research office. Kill the zombie on the ground to get its EMF fob, then leave the room for a moment. Head over to the C lab to find that zombie's severed hand holding a briefcase. Open it up to get the multiphasic resonator. Then return to the research office. Now it's time for some math. Yes, in the middle of all this fighting, you need to slow down and do some calculations. Oh, and zombies also spawn inside this same room, so make sure you have someone on defense. Here's how the equation works. Look at your X, Y, and Z symbols on the sticky notes in front of you. You'll recognize them from the laptops. Now look at the whiteboard to the left. You want to find the symbol for each letter, then link it to the number on the far left and below on the chart and combine them. For example, look at the position of our X symbol here. Over on the left is a 1, and underneath it is another 1. Put them together for 11. Now we know the value of X. If we do the same for Y and Z, we get 10 and 21. Note that these values and symbols change with each zombies game, so your values may be different. Once you have them, you can solve the equation. Remember your PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Do your math in that order of operations. So equation 1 would be 2 times x for 22 plus 11 for 33. Equation 2 is 21 times 2 for 42, plus 10 for 52, minus 5 for 47. Equation 3 would be 10 plus 21 for 31, minus 11 for 20. Once we input those values into the device, it'll start pinging spots around the map. 3 important notes here. 1, if you're struggling with the math, you can return to the guard station and get the code from Peck, but it'll cost you a hefty 5,000 essence that's better spent on armor and weapon upgrades. Second, if you don't want to do the math and you don't want to pay 5,000 essence, Reddit user Simo22 has created a handy-dandy calculator that allows you to simply select the symbols for each variable and it'll do the math for you. We'll have the link to it in the description of this video. And third, regardless of what method you use to get the code, you'll need to clear one more zombies wave before the map will stop pinging and settle on a single spot, so keep playing as normal for the moment. The computer will soon ping one of the islands on the edges of the map, but this pattern is always the same, so you can just follow this video and avoid waiting around. Just remember to grab the multiphasic resonator before heading out, or you won't be able to activate the next part of the Easter egg. Use a boat to reach Castle Rock Island to the right, and you'll find a floating blue orb. This is where things get really raid-like. Start by planting that multiphasic resonator into the orb. That's why you needed to bring it along. Wait until the orb shoots energy into a nearby zombie, then kill it. It'll drop an orb of its own. Pick up that orb and dunk it into the larger one. You'll have to do this 2 times before the orb gives back your resonator. Then you'll have to repeat the process on 2 more islands. Pick your resonator back up after the encounter, and you'll be able to follow the orb to its next 2 destinations. First, head to Crab Island to find a green orb, then head to Temple Island to find a purple one. Once you've energized all 3 orbs and gotten all 3 parts, return to the main island and head back to the research office. Here you'll be able to craft the Beamsmasher and move on to the main Easter egg quest.
Anya Tanofsky, this one's for you.
With the Beamsmasher in hand, we need to check the tentacle traps. There are a total of 4 on the map. 1 between the guard station and the holding cells, 1 between the living quarters and the rec yard, and 2 at the exits to the biolab. Here's the trick. You're looking for the one trap that's already busted open, with the grate lying on the floor. If you've already activated some, you're going to need to do a little trial and error here. You can also look for an ID card underneath the trap, as this will signal the correct one. In any case, activate that trap that was already open and shoot the tentacle monster that emerges. It'll drop a hard drive, which you need to deliver to Peck and Strauss back at the guard station. Just drop it in the deposit slot. Like in some of the previous steps, there won't be a prompt, so just press the interact button around the slot. From there, go back down into the biolab and interact with the tank in the middle. Maya's brother Nathan is inside of it, so you'll get some extra dialogue if someone on your team is using her as an operator.
Stay strong, brother. You'll be out as soon as I find a big enough can opener.
We need to open that chamber door, and we need a 3-digit code to do that. Technically, you can learn this code at any point, but we're going to tell you how right now. Digit 1 is inside the interrogation room. Look through the cell door at the wall clock and check the hour hand. It doesn't matter if the minute hand is halfway through its cycle. You only need to know the hour. In this case, it's 7. The second digit is inside the mess hall. Look for a playing card tucked away by the corkboard. Finally, head to the engineering room and look for a Days Without Incident sign. That's digit number 3. With these, you can open Nathan's chamber and face him as the first boss of this quest. Note that every player needs to be present in the room and must press the switch at the same time to start the encounter. You can't leave the room until he's defeated, so be prepared for a fight. As for strategy, he's more or less a beefed up amalgam, so shoot the same glowing spots as usual to bring him down. Once Nathan goes down, dive into the water under where his body is lying on the walkway. You'll be able to see a keycard glowing in the water. Take it to communications and use it to activate the computer with the black screen up top. This will tell you to go to the shipwreck. the last major area we need to visit. Take the boat again and head over there. Drive through the hole in the bottom and climb up to find 2 node connectors. 2 players will need to pick these up, but be aware that you'll need to fend off a batch of zombies once you do, as the room will be temporarily locked down. Once it opens back up, we can proceed. One quick note here that's especially helpful for solo players: if you come into the shipwreck with a shock trap, you can toss it next to the trapdoor once the lockdown happens. When a zombie triggers it, it will cause the door to open, allowing you to bypass the lockdown altogether. There are 2 node connectors, but 3 possible spots where you may need to connect them. One is inside the caves by the speed cola machine, one is under the sea tower connected to its legs, and the third is by the workbench at the southernmost island. Find the 2 empty ones, plug in your connectors, and you'll be good to go. Well, almost. There are still a few more steps in this long quest. With the nodes connected, head back to Peck and Strauss at the guard station to receive a hacking device. You'll need this to hack the buoy satellites around the edges of the map. But before you do that, we'd recommend stopping by a crafting table and arming yourself with smoke grenades. They'll be extremely helpful right after you finish hacking. To find the ones you need to hack, check your map. You'll see parasites buzzing around the active sites. You can use the boat to reach these, but you'll need to go quickly. You only get a 2-minute timer to start each new hack. Successfully hack 3 of these buoys without letting the timer expire in between, and you'll move on to the next step. You'll need to book it for that one too. A new 5-minute timer will start once you finish all 3 hacks. Hoof it back to the biolab, where there are now 3 bombs to defuse. There are 2 on the lower level, and 1 on the upper level underneath the meeting room with the mystery box. It takes time to defuse them, so make sure someone is playing defense for whoever does the defusing. The reason why we recommended grabbing smoke grenades is because if you throw a smoke grenade near a bomb, it will actually conceal you from the zombies, assuming they didn't see you run into the smoke. This will be extremely helpful in disarming the bombs without having to worry about getting hit, especially in solo play. Once the bombs are stopped, you can move on by entering the newly opened door next to the melee macchiato machine to face the final boss whenever you want. Be sure to have all your upgrades and armor before you enter. We recommend starting the final encounter before you reach round 26, since the zombies won't be too tanky and can be killed with level 2 pack-a-punch weapons. Level 3 and gold rarity is even better, and we recommend mutant injections and chopper gunner score streaks, plus monkey bombs for you to craft before moving on to the finale. We also have a handful of gobblegum recommendations for your loadout. Phoenix Up will let your teammates keep their perks upon revival, Idle Eyes will make the zombies ignore you for a limited time, and Cash Back spawns a max ammo power-up. Additionally, you can grab Stock Option or Free Fire. The former takes ammo from your stockpile instead of reloading, while the latter lets you fire without consuming any ammo. Once you're ready, head through the door by the melee macchiato machine to start a cutscene and meet your final challenge, Patient 13. Start the battle by shooting the weak points on its shoulders. You can't move on until they're destroyed. Note that the usual zombies will still be running around this whole time. Patient 13 also likes to slam his tentacles down, so give yourself some space when you see them being raised up. The boss will slip away once the weak points are destroyed, leaving you to fight a wave of zombies. Shoot the tentacles around the area to cut off the poison clouds. This process will repeat 2 more times, and the new weak spots will be the tentacles, followed by Patient 13's mouth. After that, things get even harder. This is where the level 3 gold guns, mutant injections, and chopper gunners really come in clutch. In this final phase, Patient 13 will glow blue and light up your screen before unleashing a beam attack. Hide behind the boxes or jump into the water to avoid it. Otherwise, it's an instant kill. Patient 13's mouth grab is also an insta-down if you can't free the person who got trapped, so be ready to unload into its tentacle in time if you want a chance of releasing them. The weak spots will shift between the boss's eyes and mouth, so keep firing away until it goes down. To make things even trickier, half of the boss arena will be cut off by tentacles, so if you want to rotate around the boss, you'll have to do so by swimming through the water. Luckily, you can still shoot its eyes from behind if they are the current weak spots. Save at least 2 chopper gunners for this final phase, so that you can melt through its health bar and finish the fight. Patient 13 will eventually go down, and you will have completed this lengthy, complicated storyline. And with that, we've given you instructions for every step of the Terminus Easter egg quest. If you need some more help with Black Ops 6's other zombies map, Liberty Falls, or just Call of Duty in general, then keep your sights trained on IGN.